Thanks to my day of rest yesterday, I have the energy to fight again, to be here, but not simply for myself or for Jews, because that's not what politics is about. You don't fight for yourself, you fight for others, and you fight for a collective society where everyone finds a home. So I'm here to fight for those who don't get a day of rest, who probably never get a day of rest, neither morning nor night, because of where they were born, because of what they look like. They never ever have rest. They never have what I fortunately get every Saturday. What breaks my heart is that Europeans today, and the Netherlands sadly excels in this respect, are very, very bad students. I wasn't meant to be introduced as a teacher, but I am a teacher. Sadly, the Netherlands seems to have not learned the lessons of history, in particular of the Shoah, or what often is referred to as the Holocaust. They haven't learned the lesson, and this is clear from the fact that anti-Semitism still exists. I was struck today in the protests, and if you take a look at the sign down here, it's interesting that anti-Semitism is not listed there. Nonetheless, I think that anti-Semitism still exists, as does racism, based on what I would call the color line. And this is very clear from the events last week at Dokkum. But I also think we need to be very concerned about the largest and fastest growing form of racism in our society. And that's actually the intersection of religious racism and color racism, and that is Islamophobia. For me, as a Jew, this is the most disturbing thing I have seen since moving to Europe. If there's anything I want you to remember from what I say today, it's that racism now will not look or sound like it did either 150 years ago or 70 years ago. Racism will constantly be changing its form, and we must be prepared to recognize that what we saw today at 1 o'clock is a form of racism and fascism that is very worrying. And silence, and people have been saying this all day yesterday and today, is not an option in the face of such an evil. I'm about to do something that makes me very anxious, but I think this is an important statement.
Yes, do it then.
To make a statement. While the fascists in the 1930s forced Jews, including my grandparents, to wear such stars to dehumanize them, to deny their being persons, Pegida today wants to deny Jews and Muslims the right to wear religious symbols in public. Denying this right to identify oneself as Jewish, as Muslim, as other, is equally a form of dehumanization, and dehumanization is the basis for racism. Islamophobia is not the same thing as anti-Semitism, but both are forms of racism. They deny that the other, whether the other is an immigrant,